I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
Greetings and salutations. Um, I gotta say, if y'all ever watch, there's a movie called, what's it called? Downfall. I think it's called Downfall. Or, um, and my analogy is gonna be a bad one, right? My analogy is gonna be a bad one, but I'm talking more on psychological level here. Um, in the movie, I think it's called Downfall, The Bunker, where 1945, Berlin, it was on April, May of 1945, and um, the Nazi leadership went to the bunker because they were surrounded by the Soviets, and there's been a sense of resignation. So instead of pressing forward, finding new um, again, this is a bad analogy, but I'm trying to make, I couldn't find um a better analogy, but people had parties and orgies, and even though their lives might be taken at any moment because they're overwhelmed. And a lot of us, well, I'm gonna speak for myself. Um, that's why I took it back from making content, um, because of the issue at hand. That's, the Jasmine Crockett election being stolen. And yes, yes, let me talk about that, because um, part of the reason why Jasmine Crockett is acting the way she is, and I'm not really here to defend her, but I'm gonna be honest about it. That election was stolen, not by the Tyricos of the world. Um, it was stolen by Ken Paxton, because he picked his own candidate. Um, Tyreka was less. Tyreka is less. How can I say? Um, Confrontational than Jasmine Crockett would be. So a Jasmine Crockett candidacy against um, um, a Ken Paxton race would have been more um, bombastic and a lot more frightening. And I say frightening, the frightening towards, in the eyes of the white conservative. So that's why the polling place in Dallas County was shut down, right? Then let's fast forward 2 months later. We got the Kamal Anthony um, verdict. Even though there is a verdict, even though there's a repeal process going on right now, um, I gotta say the appeal process is too little, too late. I'm gonna tell you why it's too little, too late. not, I do want the appeal process to go to its logical conclusion, which is the reduction of Carmelo Anthony's sentencing, right? However, there should have been. The problem is that black social media is not doing its due diligence in countering the rhetoric. I'm gonna say it again. Black social media is not doing its due diligence in addressing the problem. That's why over here I feel overwhelmed. And it's a feeling of overwhelming for somebody else. Because you see the unfairness and the injustice of what occurred, I feel that, I know people can't, they don't use that word feelings. They want to talk about, oh, feelings over facts, all that stupid crap. When there's a factual evidence, and these factual evidence is not being uh, pressed upon, yes, I'm going to opt to my feelings here. Because I know there is some idiot who said facts over feelings, but don't understand why people are feeling, because there's certain facts that being missing and people are governed by lies, right? But I'm overwhelmed. And that's why I was feeling um that's why I was feeling a certain way. Hold on, somebody's in the chat room. Let me let me prop this chat room up real quick, because I like to see the chat room. I see Mo Love. What's going on, Mo Love? But anyway, where was I at? Um, y'all got to get your heads out of y'all's asses and stop accepting. Um, stop accepting defeat. I know I was on DJ Witch Doctor, and um Candy Kane asked a question while I was, I just feel like fuck it, you know why not? No, usually I'm a serious person, um, but I stopped, I stopped being serious. Um, and seeing that, um, seems that people like the quartering. No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Candy. It's all right. It was just that. It was that because I was talking to Anyway, it's all right. It's all right. I'm not because it was because I was talking to Carmen, and yeah, I was making fun with Carmen, um um yeah, I was flirting with Carmen and shit. But other than that though, yeah, but that friendlier side of me came out, you know. But I just feel Uh, I actually think that the tools that we have, we got to start using tools in a better position. No, you good. No, oh, you good, Candy. You good. You good. What's going on? What's going on, George? Um, because I just watch Dad Save America, and then I watch I I can't stand white conservatives. I really, um, I don't know who's worse, black conservatives or white conservatives. I don't know which one. The black MAGA crowd. I don't know which one's worse. No, it's already bad enough with the white liberal, but the idea, right, that you're going to ignore facts. If the conservative position is facts over feelings, but then you want to ignore facts, and then you want to go to your primal operating procedure, operating system, because your operating procedure is based upon your fears, and it's based upon their because they might have done something in the past. You know, they see that the global South is emerging in the blowback of what happened 100, 200, 300, even 500 years ago might come back against them. You know, see, you operating out of fear, and then this fear uh, becomes it creates the monster, manifests itself into Trumpism. Everybody want to be talking about Madani and the socialists in New York. Well, guess what? Guess what? You can't get mad at the socialists winning in New York. Now everybody's a communist. You call everybody communist now, but wait a minute, y'all y'all voted for Trump. Y'all helped Trump win the White House. Well, if you're going so far to the right, what you think is going to happen? You're gonna go right straight to the far left. What you think? What you think they think is going to happen? The only option is, okay, if somebody's going far to the right, and then there's people that deal with ICE and people getting shot up because of immigration laws, of black people being accosted, Hispanic people being accosted, in the value of education. Now we bombing Middle Eastern countries and shit, and now the only option is, well, we got to go far to the left because we already up in Trumpism. But y'all now try to act out of fear. Um, I ain't no fan of DSA. I'm not a fan of DSA. Mo, what's going on? What's going on, Taz? Um, yeah, I feel overwhelmed. Um, but I blame I I blame certain content creators on Black YouTube. Those who could have I'm talking about those who have the ability to actually influence. They're not using their influence wisely. You know, I don't have no problem with a Madani. I don't got no problem with Madani, but Madani's a socialist. I'm not. I have no problem with I understand. Hopefully his socialism will solve the problem of high rent in New York. I mean, socialism should be used, right? Now, I ain't no socialist, but I will do socialist shit if there is runaway barbarism by Wall Street, and you got these baby boomers since we own this, right? We got baby boomers who like I'm talking about when I said that I'm talking about you Bill O'Reillys or your Sean Hannity's of the world who's complain about Madani in New York when Wall Street uh was on the front row during Trump's inauguration. You see Elon Musk. You see what's that guy who owned Amazon? You see all the tech bros up on the front row during the inauguration of a president, and they're being cheered upon. Elon Musk even took over part of the government. So what do you think is going to happen? See, no, so I mean, you can't complain why the young people are going to these Zoomers are going um to the far left because I see the far right as a presidential inauguration on the front row. Elon Musk is now the first trillionaire in SpaceX, and yes, I do own stock in SpaceX. By the way, I want y'all to know I own stock in SpaceX. SpaceX. The reason why though he went on to um the reason why he made SpaceX public is because he don't want to pay his employees healthcare benefits, so he put it up on the dole of the public. That's why he sold. That's why he put SpaceX as a public company, not as a private one. So the people who owe retirement plans but work for Elon Musk are going to get shafted. And yes, I bought stock in SpaceX. I sure did. It was like $135 when I bought it. Now it's up to 170. But still, you know, I only did that because I want to see. I'm curious of what's going to happen with it. But anyway, I don't. I'm just rambling. Um, and TD, you're right. They don't even know what real socialism is. They really don't. You got to leave the United States to understand what real socialism really is. That's not Madani. What Madani's doing is not real socialism. Madani's doing and Bernie Sanders doing that. That's some New Deal shit. That's some FDR shit. Okay. Um. Um. FDR. That's New Deal. I mean, a real okay. People are well. He's a socialist. Go to a socialist website. Go to a communist website like the Militant. I go. You see, because I interview political candidates and stuff, right? I have talked to some communists. I talked to some socialists. They don't look. They look at Madani as a punk ass. They look at him as fake. And y'all gotta stop using that word socialist as a catch all word because that does not fit. And we gotta get away from these Cold War terms like socialism, capitalism. because um there's levels to this. It's not as black and white, or you know uh you know it's not black and white, or as people want it to be seen. It's There's grays in the middle of this, so there's layers to it. Because a socialist in Europe or even in China will look at Madani as a a weakling. They'll look at him as a fucking capitalist, you know, in the way he is, you know. But I think, yeah. Well, no, I think the only, okay. Lord, Lord said, China isn't socialist, nor is North Korea. Look, Vietnam is probably the most successful socialist country on the planet. Okay, they're probably the most successful because like they understood. See, Vietnam is the Vietnamese understood about human nature. You can't force it. You can't force people to do X, Y, and Z. There are certain limits, I should say, to control. So when they talk about socialism, they're being pragmatic. They're not ideologues like North Korea or Mao's China, but uh, like there's levels to this. People want to put things in black and white terms, and so forth. You know, um, so yeah, like using terms so like Obama was a socialist. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. I've been hearing that shit ever since I worked in the Obama campaign down here in Texas. No, no. Um, free the healthcare. Yeah, that's is it socialistic? Yes. I actually changed my mind about healthcare. Actually changed my mind. I used to be against the healthcare plan until I see people getting sick. Until I see the insurance company don't want to help you. Then I see how the hospitals treat certain people. That's when I said, you know what? Yeah. You know what? I'm for universal health care at this point. Um, some form of it. After I seen, I don't know. Some of y'all live in these urban areas. So as somebody live in a rural area, you see hospitals in rural areas being um, shut down and or torn down. Yeah, I actually believe in universal health care at this point. So the idea should be based on rationale, not on strictly ideological. What's the rationale behind why people are driven to this, that, or the third? You know. Well, listen, V Dub. I would tell you my personal life. I don't want to tell it, but there is a reason why I'm for universal health care. There is a reason why I'm for it. I won't tell you what happened these past ten years or so, but or should say the last six years, but ever since the pandemic and seeing what I've seen and experiencing what I'm seeing, what I have experienced, yeah, I'm for universal health care. So, um, but I'm gonna say this to um, getting back to where I was at, right? Getting back to where I was at, um, being overwhelmed. Um, I blame certain content creators not having. I'm talking black content creators. I'm talking about not having a vision. Um, because like I said, I'm looking at Dad Save America. I can't stand that idiot. I can't. No, yeah. Well, I ain't gonna call him no idiot, but it's just another white conservative, white boomer, early Gen Xer, and the same old Glenn Beck trying to do the Glenn Beck thing, and white conservatives need their wake up call. You can't blame the immigrants. You can't blame black people for the shit that they have done. I'm sorry, you can't sit to keep on doing that shit. And then y'all want to ask question. What went so wrong? Like as if you hadn't learned there's consequences to y'all's policies and to y'all's actions. Y'all really don't see it. Okay. You um, the Overton Williams close. Yeah. The Overton window is closing. Um, the politics of kicking the can down the road. But I forgot where it was at. No, y'all talking about black social media, black YouTube especially, right? Because I was watching Dad Save America. Then you got that Manosphere dude. Okay, there is a Manosphere dude who I know. Many of y'all on here do not know because y'all don't go on the white side of YouTube. There's a Manosphere guy who wants a civil war so that he can get white women to act right. Yes. There is a white guy on YouTube who got a big ass channel. So he's an incel. I'm planning to drop the link. Um, I don't know. I wasn't planning on being here very long though, Candy. Wasn't here being very long, Candy. But I think about because I need to take me a shower, I get shit like that. So I'm not sure I'm gonna drop the link. So I apologize in advance. But I'm just sharing my thoughts here. Now seeing this Manosphere guy, this incel, up on Dad Save America channel. I know this guy since he was a teenager, right? He's Gen Z, so I'm a millennial, right? I seen when he start first doing videos, he started doing historical videos, and then over the last 3 years, I noticed that he's become more to the Manosphere shit, and he's talking about he won a civil war because white women, ain't giving him the pussy. Um, I'm like y'all, y'all don't see, and just go back to where I was trying to convey on DJ Wiz Doctor's channel last week. I said that this is an economic issue, and y'all try to make it to it just exclusively to black men, and no, this is an economic issue where certain men felt left behind by society, and they're willing to go to the extents of curing their loneliness by acts of violence or justifying acts of violence. That's why they voted for Trump. And when I said the man is talking white and black, by the way, that's why both men supported Trump, because they're looking for a way to justify their need to force the women to do take away something from women so they can feel justified of their existence. But nobody um nobody don't want to hear what I have to say, because you got that fat ass nigga the man with his fat ass, and who don't want to you know um we can't conceptualize shit. And some niggas need to stop being looking things inwardly and start looking things outwardly. You might understand what I'm saying. You might understand what I'm saying, because me living in a white area, a more Caucasian area, I can say they about to bust a cap on their on each other's ass. They about to pop this shit off. Okay. And they're gonna pop this shit up on each other at the same time at us, and that's why you got that fat ass the quartering, that big fat white motherfucker, the quartering, trying to start a race war, you know. Um. Anyway, that some of that goes right over y'all's head, and then you get people like Charleston White and these big time social media people like Charleston White, Anton, Tommy. They're not doing it. They're making it worse. Okay, they're actually making it worse, because what they do, they feed into white conservatives' narrative. They feed into the narrative, and that's why I said they need to be shut the fuck down. All right, that's why I said they need to be shut all the way the fuck down, because they feed into the white conservative. Everybody say, well, how does Chud the Builder does this shit about black people? Well, because he got that shit from Anton. Don't think though they don't watch our content and go over there and do act up on some shit. That's why I try to tell y'all that. But y'all ain't paying attention to me what I got to say. Just saying. You know. Hell, the quartering is big enough to be the dollaring. You damn right. That's a big ass white boy, big fat ass white boy talking shit. Better shut his fucking ass up. See, and somebody should have went ahead and called his ass out a long time ago. But I saw what that motherfucker was doing. But I'm gonna leave that alone for right now. I just feel you know, I guess Mo was talking to Shicey Bomb, talking about Chud is cute. Yeah, okay, whatever. Let me get out of here, y'all. Let me get out of here, cause I ain't gonna start no shit up in this chat room. Because I know though there's some white people watching my channel. I'm not talking to you Mo. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I noticed that there's some white conservatives watching my channel and talking shit. So so I'm just gonna I just shrug my shoulders like whatever. But I love you too, Mo. But anyway, back to what I was saying, right? But I'm gonna say this though. After after seeing this shit, no, you know what? I gotta say this. I gotta say this because I after seeing this bullshit in Texas, um, because I'm in Texas, by the way, and seeing this story of this white girl getting her ass beat, right? And shout out to Taz for doing the video on this, right? Shout out to Taz because I saw Jason Whitlock doing this shit with Megyn Kelly, trying to fabricate, well, black women are violent. Now the trope is black women are violent, so they're going after white women to beat up on. So, so now though they feel they're putting out this narrative because because the incident happened in Longview. Longview is northeast Texas. Listen, it's northeast Texas for crying out loud. What you think is going to happen? But since it happened in Longview, this white girl got beat up by a gang of black girls, and they're talking about let's free, and then women was yelling free Carmelo. Now they're all of a sudden white conservatives trying to use this to go after black people. Jason Whitlock should not feel safe. I think ever since the Kamala Anthony thing, I think any black conservative, black MAGA should not feel safe talking about black folks. They should not feel safe. When Anton opened his mouth, Anton should not feel safe. When Tommy opened his mouth, that's why I got a problem with Sharon. And I'm glad somebody brought this up though the other day, right? Because I told people Sharon is promoting Tommy and Angerman. Sharon ain't really against the manosphere. No, he's promoting it. How you gonna be against something when your thumbnail looks like a rap album and you showing images of Angerman and Tommy up on there as if though you and them are part of the team? It looks like a fucking rap album. It looks like a No Limit rap album from the 1990s. No, you're promoting. You're not against these niggas. You are promoting them. That's one of my problems I have had with Sharon. It's promotion. You're promoting them. Nothing more, nothing less. And the sooner y'all know, the better it is. The better off y'all will be. I'm talking directly to Shiesty Bomb, who likes to talk shit. You don't sit there and say, get on the panel and say, well, Jay Prince ain't shit. Jay Prince ain't shit. Well, Jay Prince is being misogynistic. Then you gonna bring Tommy up there, who's also misogynistic? Make that make sense? No, you're promoting. It's about fucking ass promotion, and you can tell Sharon I said that shit. All right. You can tell Sharon I said that bullshit, but anyway, what I'm saying is this, right? Jason Whitlock, Charleston White, Anton, Tommy, they should not feel safe. And what I'm saying is, anytime when they talk, to go up there and do this bullshit, they need to be confronted. Financial consequences need to be made. And no, I didn't say being violent. I said consequences need to be made financially, because media is a powerful tool, right? Media is a powerful tool, and you have to create a counterbalance. Anytime when Jason Whitlock says something, you have to go to where he's at and counter it. Be outside the fucking studio if you need be, do it. That's why punk ass Myron only goes at college students, because he knows he cannot debate grown people his own age. You know, I want pull up games. Yeah, listen, King Rooster. That's what I want. I want put pull up games. Pull up. Jason Whitlock says something. How come somebody ain't pulling up on him? If you see that fat nigga over there at HEB grow at a grocery store and shit shopping, guess what? Pull up on him when he grocery shop. You know that nigga he had to eat. Remember when Steven Crowder went to that barbershop, and shout out to Ty City, right? And I was on Ty City's channel, and when I saw Steven Crowder up in that black barbershop talking shit, you know what I did? I called the barbershop. I sure them did. I find out it took me a while to find that barbershop. But I did call that barbershop and say, why you let that white boy come up in y'all shit? And he said, who is this nigga? Blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm talking the guy who owned the barbershop. The guy who owned the barbershop got pissed off at me. Nigga. But you allowed this white boy to come up in there and make a mockery out of you black men up in that barbershop. I'll be damn, I'm allowed some. Listen, I'm not the most pro-black. I'm not pro-black. I'm tell y'all right now, Big J is not pro-black. But I'd be goddamn allow a white man come up in there and make a mockery out of y'all, out of us. You think I'm allowed that shit? Doing the pure capital argument. What about Chicago? Okay. Anytime when a white conservative talking about what about Chicago, I'm gonna bring up Omaha, Nebraska. Anytime I hear a white person talking about, well, you know, man, the crime in Baltimore, well, you know what I'll bring up? Oklahoma City. Anytime when a white person talking about, yo, man, but what about Washington, D.C., I'll bring up Frisco, California. Yeah, man, but black people are acting up in New Orleans. Okay, what about Aurora, Colorado? Fuck you and your pure capital argument. Because I can look at the numbers in Omaha, Nebraska. That's a conservative city run by a conservative white. Well, not now, but for the last 20 years. Nebraska been run by a conservative white Republican woman, but crime went up. White on white crime, violent crime. And I told Taz the other day, Taz, do a video on I ain't tell Taz to do a video. I told Taz, listen, there's been more white riots than there have been black riots since 1979. I actually listened down on Taz's channel. Taz's live stream the other day. They want to put all this narrative on you, but then they don't want to do this narrative about themselves. That's why I don't go. You know, I'm not glazing Taz. You think I'm glazing Taz? Talking about, oh, Big J, you glazing Taz. I ain't glazing Taz. I'm telling the truth. How I'm glazing and I'm not on there? Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, Steve Crowder, the wife abuser. Yeah. Okay, Sarge. Okay, Sarge. Since you're here, Sarge, tell me about Omaha, Nebraska, Fresno, California, Aurora, Colorado. Let me see. Here is one. Fort Worth, Texas. That's four. Fort Worth, Fort Worth, Texas. Dallas. I'm sorry. Dallas is a Republican-run city. See, Dallas, Fort Worth. Let me see. I'm gonna name number one. Aurora, Fresno. What's the one in Nebraska? Omaha, Nebraska. That there is one Virginia Beach. See, and here is my other argument. Did the pure capital arguments help Charlie Kirk? I'll wait. Did the pure capital help Charlie Kirk? Those are not outliers, Sarge. Those are not outliers. You can look, Sarge. I actually did a video. I list down the cities, pure 100,000 residents. How much violence occurred? Pure 100,000. Chicago is just as violent as Omaha. The point is though, the reason why Chicago is put on the map is because Chicago is quote unquote black, quote unquote. Well, it's the South Side Chicago, and because Obama hails from Chicago. That's the only reason why Chicago is in everybody's mouth. Because if President Obama ran for came from the state of his birth or Hawaii, y'all wouldn't bring up no Chicago up. And you know that Chicago has a black political base. If Chicago was not didn't have a black political base, you wouldn't be saying about what about Chicago? I'm just saying. So you know what? Let me get off of here, man. I ranted long enough. I'm kind of tired. I'm just overwhelmed. I've been all over the United States. I see one thing I used to be seen to search the news. Why areas I went to, most of those areas, right? True, Big J. Look at Florida. Florida has more corruption than Minnesota. Yet, though they cry about Minnesota due to Muslims and Somali, bruh. Yeah, listen. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Florida and Mississippi. Florida and Mississippi's bad, but nobody, but because Mississippi is run by is a red state. Florida is a red state, and they're run by white conservatives. We're not going to, you know, we're not going to shine the light bulb on that. What happened? What happened to Jacksonville? Excuse me. What happened down there in Jacksonville, Mississippi? Nobody ain't talking about that. about the about people stealing out of the welfare thing, but hey, because it was a white football player, we gonna sweep that under the rug. You know what I'm saying? But let me get out of here. And you know what? You know what, the George? I noticed this, right? Black conservatives, black MAGA is still trying to swing hard for Trump. Do you know Tucker Carlson broke ties with Trump? Candace Owens, to her credit, broke ties with Trump. Nick Fuentes broke ties with Trump. Everybody else breaking ties with Trump, but yet Black MAGA is still trying to stick with Trump. It's amazing. I'm just looking at it like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. Jackson, Mississippi is a war zone. I actually agree with you, King Rooster. I agree with you. But they still trying to stuck on that Trump. You're like Morique. You still on that Trump shit? You know, the invasion of Venezuela goes against the a certain international treaties. Bombing Iran goes against certain international laws. And y'all still was on the Trump shit. Y'all still want to do political trolling. I said this 2 years ago before Trump became president. I said there's going to be a big backlash against black conservatives. It's coming. It's coming. And seeing what Charleston White and Anton and what was that woman, that black woman from Oklahoma, Tamara. Listen, a backlash is coming. I'm sorry, backlash is coming on black conservatives and black MAGA. You know, y'all might want to stay at home, okay? Because nobody want to do what y'all at this point. Nobody ain't trying to hear all that shit. We see what's happening. We see a mischaracter of justice. A young man. Now, should Anthony come out? Kamala Anthony should get some time. Yes, yes. Kamala Anthony should get some time. No mistake about it, right? But to sit there and call it murder and give the young man 35 years. Come on. 35 years for that? No, he should have at least 5. If Kaysen, what's that white boy's name who did the exact same crime? If if Kaysen Allison, a white guy who done the exact same thing, but yet what he did was worse. He just stabbed it once. Kaysen Allison stabbed Mr. Joseph Ramirez several times that he was gutted like a fish. And it was not manslaughter. It was negligent homicide. Even though that fight was planned out. Casey Allison, who's white, planned the fight against Joseph Ramirez. They fought in that bathroom. He had the knife and he gutted Mr. Ramirez like a fish. Yeah, he got 10 years while come on Anthony get 35. And that was only one stab to the chest. That's that shit I'm talking about. Yeah, what's going on, Mr. Meaty? Oh, I'm sorry, so brother. What's going on with you, so brother? But yeah, but I hope after this happens, after the appeals done, and when they reduce Carmelo Anthony's sentencing, I hope the family, go after the content creators. I really hope that Charleston White gets sued. I hope Anton gets sued. I hope some of these big mouth Negroes online who keep talking this shit. I hope they get affected. I hope it happens. I'm just saying. I hope it happens. I want to see it. Tell you the truth, I want to see it. But you know, the family of Carmelo Anthony, they so anyway. But well, go ahead and email me then, Mo. Go ahead and email me, and we'll talk behind the scenes. But um, no, you cannot compare this to Kyle Rittenhouse or Child. I'm not going to use a Child in Rittenhouse because uh, the case in Allison case happened in the same state, the same part of Texas. So, and it happened the same, almost in a similar way. It was a stabbing on school grounds. Okay, okay, okay. And the Communist Control Act of 1954. Okay, Sarge. Hi. How you going to enforce it? Any of us on here are not communists. Well, as far as I know, I don't think anybody on here are communists. Some of us might be on the left. Communists, no. Hey, what the hell can it came on? I want to see Judge Joe Brown and Real Dana to get affected. And you know what? I'm gonna do this. You know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go up on Real Dana's channel. If Judge Joe Brown was on that panel, I'm gonna ask Judge, do you think about the consequences of the shit that you say? I'm sorry asking questions. Okay, she now no, she's saying she's a commie. Okay. Okay. Now she said that she's a commie. Okay. So because here is why I think he should at least do a bid, right? Um, because it result in somebody's death. That's why I'm saying it should he should do a bid. Um, but um, see, the only thing I want King Rooster is a fair trial. He didn't get a fair trial. That's my problem. He didn't get a fair trial. He didn't. In fact, since he didn't get a fair trial, you know what? Fuck it. Let his ass go. You know what? You changed my mind. But yeah. Um. Mm-hmm. 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 But yeah, you know what? Let me get out of here, y'all. Let me get out of here. I just you missing the point, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take no beating by several people. Oh, really? Really? Okay, 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 Sarge. Okay, Sarge. Sarge said he has no grounds for appeal. Okay. What about some of the evidence that was not included into the trial? What about some of the um not having to change a venue? What about the social media influence on the jury? Yeah, I see you later, Candy Kane. I see you later. All right. All right then. All right then. But let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. And plus though, let's use a 14th amendment on that appeal too. Yeah, you had to use the 14th amendment because there was no real process either. So you had to use the 14th amendment. How the lawyer wasn't shit. So so I guess yeah. I mean exclusion of I agree with you, but also, I'm of two minds about that TD. But yeah, I would have used it as a grounds for appeal, but that's probably weak, the weak argument for appeal. But I'll still use it, you know. But let me get out of here. Let me get out of here, man. So so I know I said I was going to go, but damn, for the last 15, 20 minutes, yeah, I need to take me a shower, man, and let me check on you know on my animals and shit, and I'm gonna go sleep. Wait a minute. Uh, bye. Well, if you want to talk to me, go ahead and email me, Mo. I mean, just email me. Shit, I can't stay on for forever. Um, I'm not being online as much. anymore. I don't do live stream as much anymore. I'm taking. I know. You got my email. You got my email because like you emailed me 4 months ago. You know what it is. You know what it is. But anyway, let me get out of here. I'm out, y'all. Peace.
I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.